Thank you for joining us on another beautiful night here in the mystical land of Hyrule. This is the Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 main tournament here on Speed Gaming. We have a great matchup tonight. First game of the series between Goomba and iamtheschwarz. And we're about to start that in about a minute here live on Speed Gaming 3. Hi, everyone. I'm Cyclone, currently by myself for the time being. Might have some company later, but we'll see. In the meantime, I will guide you through the seed, what we have here. And this is a open mode 7-7. You have to get all the crystals to get to Ganon's Tower. You have to get all the crystals to defeat Ganon, obviously, at the same time. Ganon's Tower is required today. And this is the first game of the matchup. I will get the group information for you in a moment. I don't have it immediately on hand, but I will grab that for you and cover that as well. So normally I like to ask my co-commentator what they want to see in the seed, but let's just ask you, chat. What do you guys want to see in the seed today? Go ahead and let me know. And we are getting started. We do have a map, and I missed what was in Link's house, but we'll get another shot on Goomba's side in a moment here. And it looks like on the map check, I saw a crystal up at Tower of Hera. Hopefully our tracker was able to catch that information. So what the Goomba looks like he's doing, he's going to go one of two places, either to the Lumberjack Ledge or to the Lost Woods. He will definitely go to the Lost Woods, but the question will be if he goes to Lumberjack Ledge before going there. And right now he's doing the tree pull. Just hearts on the tree pull. That's not really worth pulling trees. So it looks like he is going to check the bush crab. There's some arrows. So if an early bow shows up, that will come in very useful. Takes a poke from the bush crab. It didn't hurt him. iamtheschwarz going straight to the Lost Woods. Let's see what's on the Lumberjack Ledge here. Ooh, that's a heart container. So Aghanim, based on that, is not yet required, but that is not the only factor. Piece of heart at the Lost Woods mushroom spot. Of course, the answers to my question from earlier, people asking for Agaped, that was a predictable answer. So iamtheschwarz seems to be doing some kind of farming of some sort here, which I find kind of interesting. Not sure exactly what he's looking for here. Possibly a bomb. And there's a piece of heart in the drop down. And it looks like Goomba went for another tree pull, found some bombs in the tree pull. Looks like iamtheschwarz may have found that as well.
Good evening. Looks like we're coming into a really good race.
James FNX, you have arrived. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I literally just walked in the door, so getting to catch some more races.
Perfectly fine, perfectly fine. I did read that you were going to be late, but welcome to the race. We are just underway. Not much found so far. I did not see what was in Link's house, but we'll get another look at it in a moment. At some point on Goomba's side, anyway.
Okay, and this is game one, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Game one of the series between Goomba and iamtheschwarz. So we're going to get our Kakariko check. Both runners going to Blind's Hut right now, Thieves' Hut. And 5 items here. You can only see 4. Of course, there's a crack in the wall. Just blow that open. That'll go away easily. No one needs to have a wall there anyway. And that is 20 rupees. 5 rupees, so 25 so far. A shield. And 10 arrows. Not much use so far unless you want to block fireballs. Oh, that is worth it though. Moon Pearl.
Yeah, if you're going to hide your Moon Pearl, you're going to need to do it better than putting it behind a crack in the wall.
So just bringing up the information on the series. This is a Group O matchup, and this is the upper bracket. They are going to be playing to determine who faces Zyrak in the lower bracket, waiting for one of these two as an opponent to determine who the top two in this group will be advancing to the bracket phase. So this is Group O that we are trying to come to a decision on here who the winner will be. There's the lamp, by the way, and the Cane of Samaria boat, and the Ether Medallion. Wow, what a well.
That's a really good well. Yeah, this is the Group O winners match. I'm the Schwarz upset Zyrak in the first round. He's the 3 seed. Goomba is the 1 seed.
And Goomba goes back into the well. I think he's farming money. It looks like
Farming money for farming money for the Velma vendor. And the Schwarz needing a little bit more is going to get what he needs from back of Blind's hut. There's 20 rupees in pots in the and there's an ice rod.
He was going to blindside do that because it was faster to get all 30 there rather than dropping the well 3 times. So that makes sense that they split up the way they did that. Either way, it does get the ice rod. It's a good thing they farmed the money while they were there. It's not something you're going to need right away, but it's still something that they won't look for in it.
Yeah, and with 2 pendants in the light world, it's very likely the Turtle Rock is a required dungeon today.
Very, very possible. I see a green pendant at Desert Palace as well, so that could be a 3rd item for Desert Palace.
It'll be a while before we get into there.
Yeah,
both runners finishing up Kakariko.
We need a book before we get to the desert, as you were saying, but at least we have the lamp, so we can at least finish it when we get there, as long as we don't have a locked torch item. That looks like 5 rupees in the library. Not really worth it. And what do we have at the race game? Just some blueberries growing in the field, and we're going to leave them there.
I'm the Schwarz, can't even grab him right now, which isn't a big deal.
And it was more bombs in Link's house. That's where I'm the Schwarz found his bombs. Interesting.
So this is a kind of an awkward spot for him, the Schwarz. He's only got 20 or 25 rupees and no bombs, which makes a lot of the plays you would do after Kakariko a little less appetizing.
Frankly, I'm surprised he didn't play the race game for those bombs, because he would have had the bombs through the South Shore just from doing that. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, but
he had no way of getting in. He didn't even have any bomb.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess you need a bomb to do that.
You got a sword in the dam.
That's a very nice find. So we are going to flood the dam right now. We're going to have to do this again later, assuming we need to access Swamp Palace for any reason. Usually we do. Lots of items in there. There's our bug catching net, so at least we can defeat Ganon when we come to him now. Snicker, snicker.
And another shield. Goomba's going to let that one stay in the drink.
Now, since it is a shield upgrade and not that specific shield, that means when we find the 3rd shield upgrade later, it will show up as the same kind of shield that he just saw. So we may find that later, but he won't get the riot shield today. I like the early check of Agina here. This is easy location to orphan, and the way he's routing it, he's doing it following the dam. I'm starting to like the idea of doing it at that time, because we can't go to Desert Palace yet, so there's no reason to come over here other than check Agina, route it in, then do the rest of South Shore.
Yeah, it's a check that I tend to put off myself, but it does make a lot of sense to route it in, especially with going into that routing section. He didn't have a sword and only had 4 bombs, so doing Mini Moldrum Cave before he found that sword was really not on the radar.
So Goomba's going to get his uncle items now. I'm the Shore saves and quits back to Frog's house. Ribbit. Goomba picks up his fairy catching device.
Not sure where I'm the Schwarz is going. Oh, he's farming some bombs from the 50-50 spots.
Yeah, it looks like it is farming and heading back down to do it again. So he's definitely not going to the dig spot because he doesn't have the shovel yet. And there's no portal, obviously, because we're not in the Dark World yet.
Yeah, this is that awkward point I was talking about. He doesn't have 50 bombs or 50 rupees to buy bombs. He's going to have to hope for a little charity from these brushes.
He can just go back to Blind's Hut and get another 30 right there if he had to.
Yeah, but that's, I guess there is the shop in Kakariko. It's not super convenient.
Well, he's got 4 right now. That's plenty for what we're doing right now. I would just go from here. That's enough to me, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't know that it's not enough because he doesn't know about the sword and dam, and 4 bombs is barely enough to get through Mini Moldorm if you're perfect on the double hit.
Yeah, that would barely be enough. I guess that is true. I personally would check the dam first, but I can see from his perspective that he wants to try and do it all at once and leave Agina till later. That would make sense to do it this way. So he's looks like he's planning to max out those bombs here. There's our Mire in the escape while Schwarz is bomb farming. Goomba gets a little vein.
That's a good find for Goomba. I think if I was iamtheschwarz at this point, I would have taken one of that first bomb and just headed to the hut in the southwest corner of Kakariko. There's 4 bombs in that hut. It takes a bomb to get in. But that had to have been faster than what he did.
I imagine he could have done this a lot faster. Yeah, by buying the bombs, I can imagine that's a lot faster.
It looks like he's going to head down to the South Shore, head down to the dam, get this sword, and realize that the time he just spent was not very profitable.
Yeah, that's probably gonna. I don't like to usually talk about feeling behind this early, but I think he'll feel behind at that point, knowing the sword is in here, and Goomba may have picked that up because you don't see a lot of runners farming bombs like that, and that's probably not going to make him happy right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised to see a slash of contentment, as it were, after picking up that sword. But Goomba, iamtheschwarz trucking on here while Goomba gets a heart out of Dark Cross. No key, so he can't finish the rest of Escape.
Yeah, if I was him, I might have dropped a bomb on that chest at that point just to say I wasted my time for this. But yeah, he's going to leave that shield there. I know he's going to pick up the shield. Okay. Make a liar out of me, and he's going to go check Agina himself. Which, again, begs the question, if you're going to Agina anyway, why didn't you just do this before farming bombs?
Right. Like, once you had 1 bomb for Agina's cave, why not just go ahead and do it? At worst, you don't get anything, and then you still have to farm bombs. At best, you either find the rupees you need to buy bombs, or you find bombs themselves.
That's right.
Goomba with a very smart use of ether to clear out Mini Moldorm Cave quickly.
Very, very nicely done. That's another thing that iamtheschwarz couldn't have done, but there's the flippers in Mini Moldorm Cave. That's a very nice.
Yeah, that'll route this out really well, as you can just go up and do your Ice Rod Cave check now, and then loop that in with some of the water checks. You don't have the money for Zora yet, and there's not really a great place to get it.
And this will give him a chance to check the island easily without having to go out of the way to do it. He's not doing it yet, though. I think he's going to come back to that later after check the Ice Rod Cave.
One interesting thing is that this does end up being a Zora hunt for the money for Zora. Finding those flippers has taken out Houlihan for the time being for Goomba.
Okay, so here we are at Mini Ice Rod Cave. Apparently, Ice Rod Cave. We are going to open that chest and find a piece of heart. So Goomba will now head back into the water and is going to most likely check the island, go to Hobo, go to Waterfall Cave, and then, well, Zora might have to wait.
Yeah, meanwhile, iamtheschwarz getting his flippers, using some of those bombs he farmed up to kill the Mini Moldorms fairly quickly.
Now, I was thinking that Goomba could put off checking the Zora Ledge item, but that Zora Ledge item could be an important item, even if we can't get the King Zora item yet. If that's an important item at Zora Ledge, it might be worth going up there and getting that, and then just coming back when we check Catfish to get King Zora at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. With such a little progression we found so far, we've literally just found the flippers as progression, and I guess lamp for one location. I would be hard-pressed not to at least take a look and see what's on Zora's Ledge. B for a B.
Oh, that's a nice trade.
Your B has been upgraded from regular to good.
Shiny bee. Throw a Pokeball. That's 10 arrows on the ledge, and Goomba says no thank you. I don't think he checked Hobo, though.
He did not.
And iamtheschwarz did not return to the water himself. So the water checks are going to be done later for him, I believe.
Yeah, iamtheschwarz is finally going to finish at the front of Escape, while Goomba's going to check Lake Hilly Island and the Hobo here. There's just a heart container there on Lake Hilly Island.
Okay, so he did plan to get the Hobo on the later trip since it's near Link's house. That does make sense from a routing perspective. And accidentally drops the bomb. I'm sure that was an accident.
Yeah, very accidental.
And got it back.
It's one thing chat noticed, if this does end up being a Zora farm, and we're starting to run out of locations where progression could be, but if this does start to be a seed where you have to farm money for Zora, you could, and I even hate to say this, you could turn that gold bee in Kakariko, get 100 rupees, and then go and do it again a couple more times.
Or you can just go get 50 rupees out of the... Oh, we can't lift the rock, can we? Never mind.
Nope, we can't lift the rock, and with flippers and no glove, there's no easy access to the Houlihan room right now.
And we don't have any stun ability, so we can't check the stun prize and see if there's money there. We're going to get Eastern Palace, so this is available. So checking Sahasrar's closet first. I suspect there's got to be something here. I want to make a comment after we check what's in here. 300 bucks, well, that'll help. 20 rupees and... powder. That opens magic bat, but we don't have the hammer to get there yet. So we're still... That is for the magic bat check, though. So the point I was going to make about Zora, you were talking about farming the gold bees. It should be pointed out that if you were to not find money in a lot of the chests, the seed doesn't care. The seed assumes... The logic assumes that you have the ability to determine that you need money to buy the item at King Zora, you can farm that money yourself. The seed will not put money in chests as a logical means to get to King Zora. That is your responsibility to make that decision when to go there and how to get that. So just want to explain that is how King Zora works. It's not logically locked by anything except for the items that require you to get there.
And we're getting pendant music here. Is our tracker correct for what dungeons are pendants and crystals in this seed?
I saw a crystal up at Tower of Hera. That's what I saw, so I don't think that is correct.
Yeah, we'll get that updated for you shortly. But yeah, some of the logic places that seeds have you do, they don't care about money, and they also don't care about bombs. So there's often progression in bomb spots and not necessarily bombs easily available for you. Really expects the runner to be able to figure out how to get the resources they need.
Okay, tracker has been updated here, and this, as far as we know, is correct. I didn't see what Desert Palace was myself. There's our hook shot. There's progression.
Sort of. That really starts to lead me to believe this is going to be an Aghanim seed. We are one item away from Dark World access, either a cape or another sword upgrade. And with that hook shot, that'll give runners access to the Western Dark World once they do go through Aghanim, if that's how it has to happen.
And we can't get to Death Mountain yet by any means, even sequence breaking means we can't get Death Mountain yet. So, but that will open up all of Death Mountain as well, because we can get to the right side. There's still a couple checks locked by items. For example, you need the hammer to check Spike Cave. Ether Tablet, you need the Book of Medora and Master Sword. But other than random checks like that, you can go across all of the Death Mountain area now in the Light World. That was a map, and Goomba is going to proceed to the back, it looks like. He must have concluded that there's a compass in the other chest, or is gambling that it's a compass in the other chest, and just wants to fight the boss and see if... Maybe he's already thinking pedestal. Or he wants money.
I think he wants money, because he doesn't have a bow. He can't fight the boss.
Yeah, that's true. We can't get there. So he's going to go to the chest now that he's picked up some money. I thought he might be heading for the boss for some reason, which I thought was kind of strange too. But it was just for the money. He's going to now go to the big key chest. the normal big key chest. Obviously, we found the big key in the first chest, and he's going to see what's in that chest.
Yep. So I'm not sure what is left that we haven't taken.
I don't know of a lot myself, to be honest, but we need to get a Master Sword before we can even consider Aghanim. That leads me to think the Master Sword is probably in this chest, or the cape.
Yeah, sword, cape, gloves gets us Death Mountain access. It's got to be something.
Loot?
It's the gloves.
Or the glove. Well, we knew it was something. It was
the best
glove today.
Runners are really going to love seeing that. Not having to do Aghanim is every runner's dream.
Now, the flute would have had the same result. It would have given access to Death Mountain. It would have also given the additional benefit of Swag Duck Airlines, some transportation around Hyrule. But the glove is going to provide lifting access, and once we have a hammer, we can actually access the Dark World through a few of those portals.
Yeah, we also now can get in the back of Escape, where we know there's, I'm not sure if a map was found. There's at least one item back here.
Map was the Sanctuary. I know you didn't see that one.
Yeah, so there's 2 items back here for Goomba. The boots.
Bonk Rocks is open right next door to this. Didn't open the last chest. I wonder why. Maybe he thought that was a key?
It is a key.
Yeah, okay, he opened the other items. That makes sense.
Yeah, with not having access from the front, we know that there's a key in one of those 3. And the other 2 are the boots and arrow, so no reason to open that chest.
Mm-hmm. And I just called Bonk Rocks. Here it is. We're going to see what it is. Let's say bow. Nah.
It started with BO, but it's only bombs. Meanwhile, iamtheschwarz has cleaned out the rupee room in Eastern Palace and is about to go get his gloves.
Okay, Death Mountain climb. This was inevitable. There's not a lot that we can really do, so going to Death Mountain is the next logical play. We can do Tower of Hera, and if we're lucky to find the hammer somewhere up here that opens, and we have the hook shot anyway, we can access a lot of Death Mountain.
Yeah, the entirety of Death Mountain in the Light World is open to these runners. Oh no, even with the Mire, everything is open, including Tower of Hera. Did Goomba take a look at Lumberjack Ledge earlier in this race? I might have done it there.
We did see a Lumberjack Ledge. I think it was a heart container.
Perfect.
Ten arrows on the old man. And that cabbage just landed right in the perfect spot to hit Goomba as he got control again. That's a little rude. So is that Dead Rock.
Everything on Death Mountain is rude. Every time.
Every time.
Goomba using this hook shot and his boots to pick up a little bit of extra speed in that first room, though. One of the more common speedrun tricks in this is spin speed, where you sort of put yourself in a running state all the time, and you can do that really quickly with the hook shot on those stairs. If you just tap your hook shot and your boots at the same frame, you get going really fast as soon as you leave those stairs.
Schwarz opened up that key chest in the back of Escape just for the confirmation. So now we saw the key there as a visual confirmation. Looks like Paradox Cave not starting out very well. Looks like Goomba did get a heart refill out of that, though. There was a piece of heart that gave him a full heart.
Yep. And with how the first part of Death Mountain went, he's got to be happy to see that.
I would say so. There's a heart to get one of those ones he lost back. There's a red boomerang. So red nanner in the inventory. And what is over here? That's the hammer. That is Dark World access.
Yeah, very linear seed so far with everything looping you towards this area. Does also make it a nice, easy way back to get to Tower of Hera without having to save and quit and head back to the old man.
Okay, I have a question for you, James. What is the sick kid doing with 10 wooden arrows?
Whittling while life passes him by.
I think it was safe for him to have those arrows. Anyway, here's Spiral Cave, and we have boots today, so this will be about 3 times faster than it otherwise would be if you don't zap yourself on the jellyfish.
You say that, and then the jellyfish are just there to be shocking obstructions for you.
Yeah, the jellyfish like to give you an electrical boost now and then. Shocking, isn't it?
Surprised Goomba chose to do Spiral Cave over Tower of Hera there.
I'm being booed for that. Thank you, chat.
You probably deserve it too.
So Goomba is going to make the Tower of Hera plate, looks like. But first, we're going to go to Spectacle Rock and see what is on there. 20 rupees. What is inside? 50 rupees. A little bit of an upgrade, but still. I think we're probably okay for money for right now.
Hard pass on those. Goomba also with a really nice stair speed going up the hardest part of the Death Mountain ascent, at least speed-wise.
I see red crystals on Thieves Town and Swamp Palace. And I saw the red pendant sitting over on Ice Palace. So that means Ice Palace has something.
If you believe the V31 logic, then yes, Ice Palace is loaded.
Oh, I think yesterday, I think it was, we had a couple seeds back to back on these channels that Ice Palace was the key to the seeds, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
A small key in the basement cage. See if Goomba decides to do a Hera pot up to the big chest.
Well, we found the big key, so let's see if he goes for the. Yep, he is. It looks like going for the Hera pot. We should explain this. He's going to clip himself into the pot using a kind of like a bomb jump type setup. So he's going to get into the pot. He's going to hook shot into the top and fall in. This is a pot you normally fall into from a much higher floor, I believe the 5th or 6th floor. And it's considered legal to do this because this is a pot you can normally fall into via the logic. This is a room you can normally access from that floor. So after keeping this fairy, he's going to go into the portal. Because this is perfectly legal, he pops out on the same floor he would always pop out on, and this is allowed.
Yeah, and with boots in the hookshot, he doesn't even need to hit the switch to get to this bow. Wow.
That would open up the end of Eastern Palace if he so chooses, but it is a pendant. So more importantly, it opens up full access to Palace of Darkness.
Goomba making his way into the Moldworm fight. Gonna equip this hammer. With the hammer, it's 3 shots to kill Moldworm.
Everyone's favorite pet worm. And that's 2 shots. We're not going to get enraged phase because you have to get him to 5 of 6 damage points before he gets enraged. It's only at 4. So you don't even get to make him angry. That's nice.
Meanwhile, iamtheschwarz is choosing to fight this with the fighter sword. So we will see a rage... we will see the enraged form on iamtheschwarz's side here.
Rage! And it's a lot harder to hit this guy when it's raging. There it is.
It does get it done, though. And we find our last shield on Moldworm, so Herapot paying off.
And that means that Mire Shield is available and in iamtheschwarz's hand right now. And as a result, that, believe it or not, is one of the things that can put Turtle Rock laser beams into logic.
Not anymore. In V31, they took out any sort of gating on...
Oh, really?
Laser bridge items, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that changed. Good information. Goomba taking advantage of the fairy that he found in Tower of Hera is going to get Spike Cave out of the way. I actually like this strategy.
Yeah, this is really smart routing.
Too bad it wasn't worth it. But at least it means he doesn't have to check it later, and that's something that's off his mind. So that works out for him.
Yeah, if that had been an item that would have been out of logic, Spike Cave is still gated by the safety items.
That is correct. You have to have the hammer to get in, and the safety items. Just a lot of damage you take there.
Goomba going to take this Dark World access and head towards the Village of Outcasts. Thieves Town's fully clearable and a red crystal.
Yep, and yep, iamtheschwarz is taking Paradox Cave right now, so he's taking out the mini Moldorms here. Getting his money and his nanner.
I didn't see iamtheschwarz do Spiral Cave, which we know will end up paying off for him if he leaves that out for the entire race.
He may be thinking of coming back to it later when he does the Turtle Rock inspection, perhaps. That might be what he's thinking about. That's around the time where he would do Hookshot Cave, and if he's still looking for an item, then he would look then. Leaving a check like that out that you can complete unchecked can cost you, but in this case, it'll work out. Oh, you know what I just realized we have access to? We can do Swamp Palace right now.
Yeah, and it's also a red crystal. So Goomba's going to be able to do clear out Village Outcasts, do Thieves Town, do Swamp, and then loop right into the Pyramid Fairy.
So iamtheschwarz is now doing the Cave of Disappointment. We started with 50 rupees. We have a mushroom, 20 rupees, heart container, and 20 rupees. So we have a pretty good Cave of Disappointment here. I'd say it's about 9 out of 10, depending on the mushroom.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing, that's for sure.
Or as is said in chat, out of 10.
Yeah, it's all dependent on what that mushroom ends up bringing. With powder, the mushroom is only going to be used for the witch turn-in.
So we have a compass in the first chest of Thieves Town. Goomba is going to... Looking at his hearts, and he's on green mail with a fighter sword. Fighter sword doesn't mean anything to blind. They're all the same. I mean, he's blind. I wonder if Goomba will actually finish this while he's here, whether he'll just take these 4 chests and leave.
Oh, he'll definitely finish it. It's a red crystal. Like I said, you can loop this into Swamp, and then just do Pyramid Fairy afterwards.
I can see that working. That would be a good play, actually. 20 rupees.
And like you said before, this is the one dungeon where being on Fighter Sword isn't really a big deal, at least in the Dark World. Like a lot of the enemies do take extra hits because you're on Fighter Sword, but you're not really in a lot of combat in this dungeon, and Blind doesn't care what weapon you have.
It's really the Zyzax that if you will stop to fight them, that can cost you some extra time with the Fighter Sword, but otherwise you're right. There's not a lot in this dungeon. The skeletons you can one hit kill anyway, possibly 2, yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, the Stealth Lists are 2-hit kills with the Fighter Sword, but you also have Goomba also has the hook shot, so you can choose to just stun enemies and get around them. There's nothing you have to kill in this dungeon. Very nice God Pixel there on Hellway. Did get interrupted a little bit, but gets a really good dash.
I know you can actually soft lock the dungeon in that room as well. I've actually done it by killing an enemy in the wrong spot, dashing through it, and it just soft locked the entire dungeon. Ooh, that's a way to get the bug out of the way. These bugs do 2 hearts damage, by the way, so you want to try and avoid them touching you if at all possible. Goomba bombs a hole in the Sunshine Room and picks up 20 rupees on the way out.
Schwarz is heading into his Village Outcast checks. Running right on Goomba's footsteps here as Goomba heads to the basement.
Yeah, Goomba heading downstairs, so he's going to waddle down there and see what's in the... Going to find a beautiful maiden down there, so we're going to try to rescue this beautiful maiden.
Listen, she's been kidnapped by Ganon, okay?
Exactly. You have to save all the beautiful maidens. That's the whole video game meme, I think, from back then. There's our small keys. That opens up the chest over here on the big chest.
Yeah, you never really want to see the small key there. Even if you can't get the big chest, it's another couple room transitions, and it's just time you're having to waste checking this one.
And just for 20 rupees. And I don't think we've seen the map yet, so I think the map is on blind, if I'm not mistaken.
believe so.
So we're going to try and get this beautiful maiden. Oh, maiden wants to go north. Let's see what's in the north. Ah, nice sunshine room. And what? You mean it's not a maiden? New light bulb invented? Enlighten me.
It says blind fight is on a script. If you make the same movements every time, blind is going to do the same thing every time. So when you get good at this fight, it's a fight you can do without taking damage. As Goomba has demonstrated, just a perfect scripted fight here.
Not for me, you can't do that. And
Yeah,
there's that map we're talking about.
Yeah, it's outside of my abilities. Schwarz almost getting the pixel. I think he might have actually had it and just bailed.
So Goomba is going to check the rest of Village of Outcasts now. There are a few items scattered about the village here, such as this one in the C-shaped house, which gives us bomb.
Also going to route in a powder check here.
I like it. Good routing. And he can eventually go back to the Dark World, and... Oh, no, he can't. He can't do the hammer pegs. Never mind. That will require the Titans. So the story about this room, this is the Mad Hatter. In the vanilla game, he gives you half magic. He's trying to curse you by removing your ability to cast magic. Today, he's going to curse us by making it impossible for us to fly.
As curses go, that's a really good curse.
That's a really good curse.
Yeah, Link has been cursed to a life on Bandcamp now.
And with that, Swag Duck Airlines is open for business. Call 555-DUCK for your transportation needs. Note number only works on high roll. Please do not call. And Goomba going to go back to the Dark World through the portal. Of course, the duck will not work here in the Dark World. It only works in the Light World to go to one of 8 predefined locations on that side of the world. Will not work over here.
Yeah, Goomba's going to head to the digging game. 80 rupees, 30 seconds. Dig your heart out. Our item here, which is Piece of Heart in the vanilla game, is going to be located on one of the first 30 digs. It's number 6 this time, and it's 5 rupees.
And the way you know that that's the item, if you were not have the audio cue that told us diddly-ding, if we didn't have that, you would see that it was not flashing like the other rupees. That tells you that's the digging game prize.
Yeah, it also flies out of the ground at a much slower speed than any of the other items.
I didn't notice that, actually. But anyway, bombs in K45. iamtheschwarz dropping the bomb and getting the brewery open, going to get his item out of there. I actually don't remember what was in here. Let's see. 20 rupees. Big 20. And Goomba got a piece of heart, and you saw it briefly turn into a full heart container, and then his heart was refilled.
Yeah, Goomba heading down to Pipe Cave of Disappointment. And from here, I'm going to suspect he's going to head to Swamp.
It makes sense to me. This is the routing that takes him into the Swamp area. So he will go to Swamp. He's going to then route back to Pyramid Fairy. And I like this routing very, very much by Goomba in this particular setup.
Yeah, and he gets to loop Pod on the end of it as well.
And I don't think Sorry, go ahead.
And even after Pod, you can then, if he continues and hasn't found anything to really break this chain, could then just loop up, turn in the mushroom, and head to Catfish.
You took it right out of my mouth, because I was going to say, I don't think he checked King Zora yet either. And he has almost 700 rupees right now, so he can pay off Kiki and get King Zora's item. So this This will work out as a very, very nice route. I really like this routing by Goomba. There's our shovel, by the way. That was, I think, a Graveyard Ledge. So Schwartz can dig it.
Yeah, with the boot sets, Graveyard Ledge check is not the most isolated because you can pick up King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks if you haven't already done one or both in the same lapping. But if that shovel leads to anything, that could be an advantage for the Schwarz.
Yeah, I don't think Goomba is going to be running up there for a while. So if that's an important item, that could be something that gives Schwartz a temporary advantage. But I want to say temporary because at some point, Goomba will run out of things to check if there's nothing else for progress here. If he doesn't find the Titan's Mitt, for example, that shovel could lead to the Titan's Mitt. And if that's something like that, that's something that Goomba eventually gets funneled into, and it's not really an advantage at that point. But if it's something like a Fire Rod, that could be a little more interesting. We are going to see what the mushroom item is from I Am the Schwartz. So when Goomba eventually routes up here, probably in about 10 minutes or so, I'm guessing, we'll see him probably pick this up as well.
Yeah, if you're looking at this from a game theory perspective, the worst thing that for Goomba to be in that shovel spot is one of those two medallions that we haven't found yet.
So I Am the Schwartz picks up a free pack of palms, aka 50 rupees, if you buy them in Kakariko. And we're going to get the catfish check from I Am the Schwartz. I don't think he's checked King Zora either, because he has the money right now. So he's probably routing that in right now the same way Goomba probably will. That means that we have to figure out what the fish is going to have on him today.
Yeah, these two scammers are rarely paying off. Well, let's see what we got.
I'm going to say Silver Arrow. That was worth a shot.
Piece of heart from the catfish.
Cane of Burning.
Schwartz has not done the waterfall checks either, so he'll be able to collect a little more sadness.
I don't know if you heard the Cane of Burning in Swamp, so that is the invincibility cane that also doubles as a weapon in some cases.
Yeah, that puts that Spike Cave check that Goomba did earlier into logic. Not that I can imagine Schwartz is going to ever do that.
So Schwartz is not going to pick up the Zora item. We know that's not really worth picking up, but we do want to find out what 500 bucks is going to buy us today. So everyone say hello to everyone's favorite scammer fish as we hand over our 500 rupees and we get back an Nanner.
I remember the time when blue was the superior boomerang.
What? There's a superior boomerang?
Yeah, red's the superior boomerang now. Now that you can fake flipper with it.
I have not heard this.
Meanwhile, in Swamp, Goomba has found the silver arrows.
So I knew it was coming just on the wrong screen. So welcome to Argus's room, covered by a whole bunch of Argai. I think it's about 13 if I count it right one day. Once these 13 Argai are killed, that opens up the octopus itself to damage. Until then, any attempts to attack the main octopus will be futile.
Yeah, and with Fighter's Sword, this is kind of a tricky fight. Goomba is trying to grab 2 puffs at a time.
Ooh.
And spin them both. It takes 2 spins to kill one of these puffs, but they move back slow enough that if you spin right as you hook them, they will both your spin will hit them twice. And the silver arrows make phase 2 very, very fast.
I just saw a potential meme on that fight as well. I noticed the one Argai didn't get back to Argus and was actually going away from its Argai. Anyway, he does take Argus out, and that is the 3rd crystal for him. Now, just something we noticed now, they have both. He has both of the red crystals, so Pyramid Fairy is his most likely next stop.
Yep, and this is really nice running. It's not going to do it, though.
He's not. I stand corrected. He made a liar out of us.
He's going to head directly to Pod. I think you could have done well by looping Pyramid Fairy in with this, especially with the boots.
Yeah, I agree. He could have gone from Pyramid Fairy straight to the Palace of Darkness area. That would have been a really, really nice routing, I think.
But both our runners are now going to get cozy here in Pod. iamtheschwarz checking our first chest here.
I didn't know you could get cozy in a place full of darkness. And say hello, everyone, to everyone's favorite contortionist, Kiki the monkey. She's already gone on Schwartz's side, but Goomba now going to pay her off, and he's going to get in behind Schwartz.
Yeah, I come from the world of a card game. I like to call that one Kiki Cheeky Wallet Breaker.
I have no comment. So iamtheschwarz is on the Bowlock side. Bowlock, because that red mimic, or the red Guria is more better known, cannot be killed without an arrow, so have to use the bow. And on the Bowlock side, we are presented with a key. And another key.
Kiki's here too.
Mind blown. I think you're getting booed now.
Good. I deserve it.
Goomba has another shocking experience on the jellyfish, and Schwartz pushes a block and is going to make his way around to the left side. Chests on the lower floor.
Yep, the arena had just had just a key. Vanilla Big Key chest here coming up, and then the Stalfos room.
There's another key, and so there's a really good chance the next chest probably has an item in it. Let's find out.
Yeah, and in Palace of Darkness, there's at least 4 keys in the front. This time there's 5.
Like I said, it has a good chance, and that key is an item. No, I'm kidding. It's just a key.
Yeah, so you don't get key locked in this dungeon. There between the right hand side and the chest in the front, there are 4 keys. And this time there's 5, so there will be 1 extra item in the chest in the back here.
I have no problem with this. So there's also a map and a compass lingering around. So, well, there's the compass. So there's still a map lingering around somewhere.
I believe map was in the shooter chest. So we are just down to items and a big key and 1 small key.
So very good chance there's a couple items down here. That was a heart container for the first one. There's the big key. And there's our 6th key you were talking about. So now it's just items.
There'll be 2 items in the dark maze, 1 in the big chest, and 1 on Helmasaur.
Are we gonna get a hammer? Yeah. Nope. Just gonna use the key because he has them all. So Dark Maze not coming through strong here. 1 more item over here. Let's see what is in the big chest. We have a heart container. And so far, Palace of Darkness is a bust, but we have a crystal at the back, so we're going to go and take out this lizard creature, whatever you want to call this guy.
And Goomba's going to have an advantage in this boss fight with those silver arrows. There'll be 1 shot to end Helmasaur's life, whereas iamtheschwarz is going to have to use either the hammer or 8 arrow shots or 16 sword slashes.
So we're going to get through another of these red mimics that requires the bow to kill, and the other ones do not, but you have to kill them all to open the door, and Gee, it's always funny to see a door open with an arrow stuck in it and the arrow just stays there. So we're going to shoot the statue in the eye and a magical wall moves. You may commence questioning Nintendo logic at this time.
Goomba enters cutscene theater just as Schwarz gets out of it.
Kind of like a high five, I guess.
Sorta.
And welcome to Turtle Town.
Schwarz being formally introduced to the weirdness of the hammer hitbox. The turtles, you have to hit them with a hammer to bounce them up to even hurt them, and then it's 4 regular sword slashes or a hammer shot to kill them. But depending on how close or how far you are with the hammer, you can sometimes miss them and just flip them back over.
So it's time to fight the King. Helmasar King has a vanity mask, as I call it. He's a little shy. That or he is the Phantom of the Opera. I can't tell which. But we're going to use this hammer. We're going to encourage him to take his mask off, show himself to the world. And then we're going to just slash that crystal on his head and kill him, because he's really angry with us for taking his mask off. Of course, we're going to miss a couple shots with the arrow first.
And Schwarz is in a bad place right now. One more hit and he will die.
That's a very, very bad scenario. And he's thinking, needs to be careful here. He's using buffer strats to try and avoid the fireballs here. Very interesting. And trying to avoid the tail as well. You saw the tail was about to go. He got the kill, but Goomba gets the kill first. Takes a slight edge in the Palace of Darkness area.
Yeah, Goomba now with a dungeon in hand and a head here in pod.
I'm being asked what my favorite dungeon is. I actually don't really have a favorite dungeon. It's kind of hard to believe that. In terms of racing, though, I like to see a dungeon like Ice Palace done, because that's a dungeon I personally am not good at. What about you, James?
If I'm doing a vanilla run of this, I think Palace of Darkness is my favorite dungeon. And in Rando, I'm a fan of Swamp. I like gambling on left side a lot.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Goomba now going to go grab this big bomb.
I'm still a little surprised that he didn't route it the way we were thinking of there, but maybe he realized later that was something he could have done, and not a huge time loss. Seconds do matter, but it's not a huge time loss.
Goomba going to look for a bomb duplication here. If you leave the screen in the same frame the bomb explodes, suddenly you have a bomb behind you.
Like that.
Meanwhile, Schwarz did check that shovel that he found on Graveyard Legend and only found 3 bombs for his shovels.
And now the bomb will properly explode. Let's check the pyramid while we're here. The ledge, that is. That is not useful. Piece of heart. So is my favorite location, the Pyramid Fairy, going to show up with something today? Let's see. We have 300 rupees and a cape. Could Bumper Ledge be something?
It could. Neither runner did check Bumper Ledge while they were over in Village of Outcasts.
Ooh, Goomba going to the west side here.
Yeah, I suspect he's going to do his King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge checks and then check Bumper Cave now that he has that cape.
Yep, it makes sense to me, and but he hasn't checked Catfish yet either, so I think he has to route that in too somewhere.
He has not been to Zora either, so he does have that double dip there, but he has all checked out the rest of that area. So maybe he's just choosing to isolate those 2 locations. You start to run out of spots without the mitts, so it isn't that bad to isolate those 2 locations just because there's just not a high volume of places left to check. Like, if it's there, you're going to be there fairly shortly.
But looking at the dungeons to see what we have left to complete, obviously we're not going to factor in the pendants here for this. We have Skull Woods, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock. We have everything to get to Misery Mire and Turtle Rock except for the Fire Rod, and we don't know which medallions are going to be involved for those yet. So those are the only potential obstacles for those dungeons right now.
Well, and the mitts.
And the mitts, of course. And Skull Woods is completable. So I'm going to say Goomba probably goes to Skull Woods next at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, this is how it's lining up after you make these North Dark World checks. So, he's going to go turn in that Catfish Zora combo. I probably would have just continued going on west, checked Bumper Ledge, and hopped into Skull Woods myself.
Yeah, because Skull Woods is necessary for the pendant anyway. Or the crystal anyway, but we don't have the books. We can't check the pedestal, but let's talk about the pedestal for a second. There's not a lot of items we need that can be on the pedestal. Just either the medallions, if either ends up being entry key, or the Fire Rod can be there. But
yep.
Other than that, not much.
Yep, mitts can't be there because Ice Palace is one of our pendants, right. And we are just down to mitts and Fire Rod and a second sword. But there are 4 swords in this game. Having Ped be your second sword and having the other 2 locked in places where you can't get them, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
Very highly unlikely, yes.
You literally have to have both of the other swords on tablets to have that come up.
The other possibility is they could be in GT, and we end up not finding them in GT because we found the big key quickly. But chances are, if you need a sword at that point, you're checking all of GT.
Yep, indeed. Also, both our runners skipped left side swamp and left at least one item over there.
Well, Schwartz can still go back for it, so that's something that Goomba did not do. That could matter. We will find out later. There's the silvers for I Am the Schwartz, so he now is equipped with silver pointed sticks. And Goomba gonna get his scam of the day. I mean, it is the holiday season. They you have to pay for your gifts to your kids, right?
That's right. So let's take a look at what's left for these runners. We've got Desert Palace is not accessible. No book, no mitts. There is 1 item left in Eastern. There is Skull Woods. And there is Bumper Ledge.
And we are just looking for the Fire Rod or potentially some coins.
And the mitts. The mitts are the big one.
It's the really big one, yeah. I thought they were going to be here. That's why I didn't say it, but bombs are here.
Yeah, Schwartz should check that dig spot about 15 minutes ago, which was the one big advantage that he had so far in his routing, was finding that shovel a lot earlier than Goomba, but it did not pay off.
Unfortunately, it didn't pay off, no. Schwartz trying to fire some silver arrows into the octopus, and it's not working very well. I should say squid, not octopus. There we go. And by the way, I should point out something about that 10 bomb item that I didn't point out earlier when Goomba got it. That's an item that you can get from the uncle when you're doing the escape sequence in standard mode. When you go through the escape to find the princess like you normally do in the vanilla game. You have to have a weapon to complete standard mode escape, and that could be one of your weapons, 10 bombs.
Yeah, I remember during the standard mode tournament last year, one of my opponents put in as their username no bomb start, and got exactly what he asked for.
The Schwartz is going to be getting his cape from the Pyramid very soon. The Wallmaster attempts to grab the mummy. That didn't work very well.
Goomba routing this halfway back to front. I like this, to be able to dip out of here if he doesn't find the Fire Rod and go check that Bumper Ledge pretty quickly. Also ensures that he has a key so he doesn't get soft locked in Skull Woods. now that there can't on V31 they changed the logic a bit where you can actually get an item out of the chest that's in the bump room. There are the mitts.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's the Titans mitts. So now we know where they were. They were in Skull Woods the entire time. We had access to those about half an hour, 35 minutes ago.
Yeah, we've had them for a while. Skull Woods is one of those locations. As soon as you have Dark World access, you can get to a fair amount of it.
So yeah, I would suggest at this point that both runners find the mitts of Skull Woods. They're probably panicking as soon as they find those, because that's something they could have had a long time ago.
This does open up a lot for Goomba. He can now head over to Dark Death Mountain and clear out the 6 items there between Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave and get a little intel on what's needed for Turtle Rock.
Well, I can now officially say that the Pyramid Fairy location did not work for us today. They're just a piece of heart at the cave ledge, so upper cave. So oh well.
With this flute, Goomba is going to check the desert ledge item and then
go right back.
Hop in. Probably do desert first and then look at Mire. Depends on whether he has a medallion for it.
Yeah, let's see if he has a medallion.
Desert's a pendant. He's not going to do desert first.
That was Quake.
Wait. Are the keys under the doormat like they usually are?
Oh, they gotta be. They were twice last night. We had the boots under the doormat for desert last night, for goodness sake. So are the keys here? Nope, but they could be in Checkerboard Cave. So over to Checkerboard Cave we go. They could be in Desert Palace too, if you think about it.
Yeah, I'd count that as being under the doormat too.
No, not in Checkerboard Cave. So into desert, let's find out.
I think of desert being a green pendant that Goomba's going to make that play. It's 3 items, the 2 in desert itself, and then the pendant item from Sharosla.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's heading up into the left entrance and is going to start checking for items inside Desert Palace, because if Quake happens to be in here, this will let him route in Misery Mire immediately. Plus it gets the item checks out of the way here. What is on the torch? We have a heart container, so at least it's not boots locked today.
Yep, that's one of the 2 items in desert. Meanwhile, iamtheschwarz has decided to dip back into Eastern and clear this dungeon out and get its last item.
It had to be the big key, or the small key. Could have been the small key as well. So it had to be some kind of key. We are going to get the big chest. That may give us... Actually, I'm going to say it probably will give us the small key. I think it has to be a small key by logic at this point.
It does.
There it is. And continue your back and forth segment, please. Go all the way to the right now. So this is how Desert Palace can make you waste the most possible time.
Yep, because there's a really good chance we're just going to find map and compass here on this area.
Well, that was the map. So let's see if you're 2 for 2 on that. Nope, heart container. That's 2 items. He can leave.
And normally that would be it for desert, but with an extra item on Landmo, I guess Goomba's going to forgo that for now.
Yeah, because if it happens to be Quake over there, it's not going to help him anyway. So he's going to look somewhere else and see if he can find it right now.
Yep, 6 quick checks here on Dark Death Mountain once he gets over to the right side. Nothing much quick about this screen, though.
iamtheschwarz does take out the Armor Sites. He is he does have the Eastern Palace clear. I wonder if he's starting to consider that the pedestal could be in play. That's our first pendant clear.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's probably still too early to think about a pendant seed. iamtheschwarz is still looking for those mitts. Once he finds them, maybe something more to consider.
He may have forgotten that they didn't check Skull Woods. He may be thinking the mitts could be on the pedestal, so that could be what he's thinking as well. Either way, Goomba is checking the Super Bunny Cave right now, and Soul Name Kitchen can get in here as a bunny and check these chests, which is not intended. And just explosive area.
Yeah, Goomba pulled off a nice little clip there with the hook shot. One of the exclusive glitches to the Japanese 1.0 version that gets used a lot in Randomizer is you can fire shots through those blocks as you move them. So basically, what he does is he does a hook shot through it, hooks the block behind it, and clips himself through. There's Quake.
There was your key, just under the wrong doormat. And maybe we'll check what Turtle Rock is while we're over here. I think that was a B.
Yep, that was another bee in a bottle. So I assume Goomba's going to check out the Turtle Rock medallion here, see if he's got to do any more hunting.
Exactly. Nope, Bombo's not needed. So that takes Bombos off the pedestal consideration.
It also takes Ice Palace out of the game entirely.
It does. Unless the pedestal has a fire rod and we need Bombos to get into Ice Palace to get the pendant. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, you're right.
There are still evil scenarios out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Goomba's gonna at least open Turtle Rock. I don't know if he's gonna hop in or not. There's a potential of anywhere from 0 to 4 checks you can get in here without the fire rod, depending on the key layout.
Normally,
you could end up being stopped.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, normally you could end up being stopped here this first check, or you could make it all the way to Trinex.
Normally, I would say this is a check that is good to put off until later, but they're running out of locations to go here. From what we know, I think this is a good check. Big Key is going to stop them, though, and that's just like a...
Yeah, that first chest is basically an overworld location. I think it's a fine check to make. It starts to get a little worse if you can dig deeper and deeper into the dungeon.
Yeah, the rabbit hole did not open up today, and he's out of there. So he's going to have to head back to the Misery Mire area with his Quake medallion now that he has the key from under the other doormat. And he can hop in there and see what's in there. And it's worth noting as well that Silver Arrows will make this a very, very quick boss fight as well. So this is not a bad idea to get out of this way here. At this point, I think one thing Goomba does not want to see is a Quake medallion. Or I mean a Bombos medallion.
Yeah, you don't want to see the Bombos medallion. Everything else that he could find is all good. Another sword would be great. Even book would be great. That would give him some knowledge and information. And Fire Rod clearly is all he that and a sword is all he needs.
Knowledge and information, you're talking about the tablets?
Yep.
Oh, so iamtheschwarz is doing the Smith turn-in. Meanwhile, Jeremiah the Bullfrog getting a tour of the Hammer Pegs area, as he usually is wont to do. And iamtheschwarz using the Hammer Dash. That's a glitch exclusive, I believe, to the Japanese version as well, to get those pegs down quickly. And we find $300. And Schwartz considers and then says no. That is a key in the first chest of Misery Mire on the bridge that has an end.
Yep, Schwartz now gonna turn Smith in and find out what they've been crafting today.
There's our second key from Misery Mire. And the dwarfs are apparently employees of Hyrule Castle. They work for the Mint, apparently.
This is decent writing from this is pretty good writing from Schwartz. He had not done his magic bat check. He has to loop that in here. Kind of the NMG 100% route in this area.
And with a purple chest behind him, he is going to receive his curse of inability to fly.
Goomba has his big key. Does not have both items out of here yet. He's going to make some more checks.
There's our third key from Misery Mire. So I think that's all the small keys now. We still have items to find on the left side here.
Yep, there's the vanilla big key chest, the big chest, and the prison chest, that I think is the map in the vanilla game.
He's going right first. I don't think he's checked the item chest on the left yet. So let's see what's on the right.
He got the big key out of the Stalfos room. He skipped the actual big key chest.
Other one. Yeah, he skipped the other one. He's hoping that the items are both the other items over here. That was a piece of heart, and that is a map. So, well, I think there's still an item left. It could be on Vitreous.
Yep, he has to kill Vitreous anyway, so he's just gonna gamble that Vitreous has the item.
That's the gamble.
If it doesn't, and then you got a decision to make whether you want to spend all the time coming back into Mire just to get to the cutscene chest.
I believe Gary's lunch was a new item. We took his Gatorade. And iamtheschwarz is now in Misery Mire area. He does not have the key, though, and he cannot enter Misery Mire. And there's $20, and there is a piece of heart. For iamtheschwarz, we did see those on Goomba's side already. And I don't think he's going to take the money out of Checkerboard Cave. And Goomba comes out of the darkness into the light. Let there be light. And now there is a reason that in the vanilla game this is a red crystal and locks the silver arrows at Pyramid Fairy. You're going to see that reason in about, I'd say about 5-second demonstration here.
Looks like Goomba's been practicing his archery game.
Yep, that was a 5 or so second demonstration as to why silver arrows are normally locked by Misery Mire.
Don't blink because Vidi can't.
Yeah. iamtheschwarz find the piece of heart on the torch. Not going to waste time bonking into that.
Goomba did find the second item under Vidi. Nothing he's looking for, but can safely leave that cutscene chest.
Yeah,
buried forever.
That is a compass, and we're not picking that up.
It's like Goomba's gonna do his smith chain now. So left side swamp is still looking like a likely factor here.
It is looking like a potential factor. Neither runner checked it. And if the fire rod is over there, that's going to be another one of those things that they come to it and say, "Oh, I had access to that a while ago. I'm doomed."
Because at this point, we've got left side swamp. We have the green pendant turn in, and I'm not sure what else we have here.
I'm out of options. I have nothing else. You know what I'm gonna say? Here's what I'm gonna say. Book on left side of swamp. Bombos on one of the tablets, the ether tablet, let's say. Fire rod on pedestal.
Why do you hate these runners?
I'm just saying, I know this. I've seen too many seeds that do bad things like this. It could be there.
Chat asking about Spike Cave. Goomba did a nice cheeky little check of that very early after Tower of Hera using a Fairy Revival to get through that cave, and it only turned up with 3 bombs.
So iamtheschwarz is going to take out Landmolus. He might be playing the pedestal angle here, because either that or Sahasrahla. Sahasrahla could also have a book or a Bombos or a Fire Rod. That is possible. So he's going to go for Sahasrahla with this play. This could be a really good play here. I just want to remind you, everyone, if the Fire Rod is found, that is go mode. As soon as we find the Fire Rod, that is go mode.
iamtheschwarz with a very good quick kill of Landmo. Another reason you don't have silver arrows this early in the game.
So for those joining a little late, this is the 1 hour and 13-minute mark of a Link to the Past Randomizer tournament race in the main tournament between Goomba and iamtheschwarz. This is the upper bracket of Group O. This is the end of the upper bracket, meaning one of these two runners will drop down to face Zyrak. This is game number 1 in a 3-game series. Zyrak will face the loser of this matchup to determine who the second person will be, joining one of these two going to the bracket phase of the tournament. I'm Cyclone, joined by James FNX.
Yeah, and now we have a little turn of events here as Goomba's one following in iamtheschwarz's footsteps. Schwarz is going to turn in this green pendant and only 3 bombs.
Oh my goodness!
We're off to swamp. We're back off to swamp now.
It has to be swamp.
Schwarz has not checked Hookshot Cave. He's gonna get that Quake medallion to get into Mire, and I assume he's just gonna run back into Mire.
Back to Mire.
So Goomba's gonna have the advantage once again once he gets through landmill fight and turns in that green pendant. He won't have any items to speak for it, but he still has a crystal in hand over on the Schwarz.
Now here's the question that begs to be asked, because I think we have now concluded that we have to have progression of some form. There are 3 possible forms here, but we have to have some kind of progression on left side swamp. 100% at this point, I would say. One of those 2 chests will have something, because there's only 1 item left. So what will it be? We could have the book, which will lead to the tablets. We could have the bombos, which will automatically lead to Ice Palace. Or we could have the fire rod, and we will be in go mode. That is on the left side of Swamp Palace. One of those 3 items. There's really nothing else at this point that can be over there.
Well, if it's the book and swamp, there also has to be a sword over there, because we can only read the tablets right now. We can't get them.
That takes the book out then. That's a good call. That does take the book out.
So yeah, it's either book and sword, or bombos, or fire rod.
Well, if we only have 1 item, it can't be book and sword.
I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 items. I know there's at least 1.
Okay, if it is 2 items, then it could be book and sword. And that would be just almost a slap in the face at that point. Chat thinks there's 2 items. It could be. We'll find out. Someone else saying it's 1 item. So we don't remember. We're going to find out either way when we get over there.
I saw the compass getting grabbed. I don't remember seeing the map getting grabbed, but there was a lot going on in both visits to Swamp for the other player. Goomba gonna finish out Eastern Palace here. We know this is not going to be the key to victory.
Without question, the runners don't want to go back into Swamp Palace. They missed their chance to check it, and I'm sure both are aware of that. But they were making the gamble, and the gamble is going to hurt them.
Yeah, and if there's only 1 item left in the swamp, it's either bombos or fire rod.
I could see it being bombos just to say you're doing Ice Palace. I could literally see that. But because either bombos or fire rod will get you into Ice Palace. But at least my nightmare scenario isn't going to come true here because they don't have the sword.
I mean, it still could come true. It still could be bombos to go into Ice Palace, finding a sword and a book in Ice Palace, and then or finding a book on pedestal to get fire rod off of one of the tablets.
You know, you were asking me why I hate these runners. I think you hate them more.
Only because I'm no longer in the tournament.
Okay, so Goomba doing the night fight here. And no, I was not going for the poetry, but I'll take it. We don't have to worry about any quick kills because Silver Arrows just vaporize them, and iamtheschwarz demonstrated that earlier as well, I believe. I think he had the silvers at that point. And iamtheschwarz is going to go to Misery Mire. Again, not really anything else he can do. Goomba is now potentially in the advantage here because he has... I think he's done everything he can right now. He run at the start of the seed so well that he's out of options. iamtheschwarz is still working on Misery Mire, and Goomba is doing the... I guess we can almost call it a walk of shame at this point, back to Swamp Palace.
Yep, when you make the decision to leave an item behind in a dungeon like Swamp, you're basically saying, I'm not going back there unless I have no other options. And at this point, Goomba just does not have any other options.
Yeah, there's zero other options at this point. We can't get to the tablets. We can't get into Ice Palace. And Turtle Rock is, for those who are joining us late, Turtle Rock had the big key in the first chest. We could not continue down the rabbit hole, as I like to call it. So this is all that is left. This is the only option remaining for Goomba. So the only question we have in chat, and I'm going to assume there's only one item, but if there are two, then it could obviously be book and sword. I'm assuming there's only one. So let's get guesses from our live Twitch chat. Obviously on YouTube, you can't see this, but on our live Twitch chat, let's get guesses on whether you think it's going to be the fire rod or bombos over here. What are you going to go with, James?
I think this seed's going to be kind. I think it's going to be the fire rod.
I feel a bombos coming. I don't know why. I just feel it.
One thing to note with how this seed is played out, the mitts that we found in Skull Woods have opened up nothing in terms of progression for this seed, other than being able to finish the two dungeons that require it.
It really hasn't. You're absolutely right. King's Tomb proved, I think, to be nothing, and therefore the mitts didn't really help us. It's just going to give us access to the dungeons, but it's not going to unlock anything. Now the big chest, the big chest is there. That could be the item too, so we could have to go to the left side to get the big key. Unless we already have it and I missed it.
No, we don't have the big key. Looks like what's left in this dungeon is the map, the big key, and the one item.
Speaking of big keys, Schwartz forgot his.
The old oopsie daisy.
Yep.
Never done that one either.
Not that never happens.
Not once, not ever.
Never done that. We still have some calls for book in chat. If there's only one item, then the book will probably not help us here. In fact, I think it would actually soft lock the seed at that point. So I'm going to rule out the book just based on that, unless there are two items. And then the other one has to be a sword. So will this be the chest? Will this be our bombos or fire rod? Let's find out right now. It's the other one or the big chest. Let's see what the other chest has in it. And this chest has a map, so it's the big chest. We have to go back to the big chest now.
How bad you have to feel in the pit of your stomach going through all this, and now having to take this walk and swim back to the big chest.
It's just stretching it out for the maximum pain possible. That's what it's doing at this point. So, 1 hour, 22 minutes. We're finally going to have progression in this big chest. Fire Rod or Bombos. It has to be. It is the Fire Rod. Goomba, 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 7 seconds is in go-mo. And that follows the die can stay wherever it is today. We don't want it.
Yeah, Goomba's got to feel... I think both these runners have to feel behind at this point.
I guarantee you Goomba panicked when he saw that. I'm sure that is something he did not like seeing. And I'm sure in the pit of his stomach by the time he was going back, he knew it had to be there. So Goomba, I'm sure, feels like he's about 20 minutes behind at this point.
So we are still short a sword, but Ganon's Tower has a lot of opportunities to have that last sword.
Yeah.
One of the 3 last swords that we need to have everything we need to beat Ganon. So we're not quite in go mode yet, but there's not a lot of checks for Goomba to do along this route. There's one more item in Skull Woods. Turtle Rock has a decent chance of requiring a full clear anyways and not a go mode. So we can ignore the sword for now. And if we don't have a sword by the end of Ganon's Tower, then we can do some more looking.
This is why I'm calling it go mode, though, because we're going to have to open all the chests in Turtle Rock and into Laser Bridge anyway, and if we don't find a sword, Goomba will probably go looking for the sword on Laser Bridge anyway. So that's why I'm going to consider this go mode, because if we do find that sword, we're done anyway. We're going to the end. But if we don't find the sword in Turtle Rock, then he's going to check all of Ganon's Tower anyway until he finds that sword. So no matter what happens, he's going to ignore any other checks that can be opened up with a fire rod, except for the chest here, of course. He's going to ignore any other possible checks the Fire Rock can unlock, which aren't very many, to be honest. And he's just going to go get the dungeon items from Turtle Rock. He's going to get the 2 items here to make sure a sword isn't here, and then he's off to Ganon's Tower. And that's why I'm still going to call it go mode. He's not going to go to Ice. He's not going to go to Ice Palace to look for a sword, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, not unless he has to, yeah.
Yeah, and then all 3 swords will have to be at Ice Palace, and there's no way that's going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but it's not very likely.
And you thought that we hated the runner. Someone rolled that seed. Someone has rolled that seed in the past.
You're telling me it actually happened?
I'm sure it's... I mean, how many different games of Randomizer have been played? I'm sure it's happened at least once.
I mean, I've seen 3 shields in Ganon's Tower.
Meanwhile, Goomba with a very good hammer fight on Mothula. That is a boss that is really difficult to hit with a hammer. Goomba making it look easy.
iamtheschwarz gets his archery down, a little slower than Goomba did, but does finish the boss off, and Viddy blinks and gives up his 5 rupees and his crystal. And Goomba is not going to be able to check the pedestal because A, he doesn't have the 3rd pendant, and B, he doesn't have the book, and C, he doesn't care. It would be funny after all this drama if the Baubles was on the pedestal. I actually wouldn't be surprised if one of the swords is on the pedestal right now. The unknown sword. So iamtheschwarz has finally resigned himself to going back to Swamp Palace, and at this point he will be about 5-ish minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in that range behind iamtheschwarz.
Yeah, it's not an insurmountable lead, but it is a very significant one.
I meant to say behind Goomba. iamtheschwarz will be behind Goomba, rather. My mistake.
Right. So Goomba already has his big key. We'll see if he decides to skip the vanilla big key chest here. That would be a very, very, very gutsy play.
He could do it. It would possibly give up a sword, but so I don't know if I can see him skipping it. But knowing that there are 3 in the game, again, if one is on the pedestal, one's in the lava island, and the 3rd one's on the tablet, this is, like you said, a really risky play. So there's a key. There is another key. So he has the 2 small keys. You knew one had to be there, but he found 2. So at this point, I can't see him skipping the Lava Island chest. If there was only 1 key there, he might have gotten away with it if he found an item in the other chest. At this point, I think he has to open the Lava Island.
Yeah, I don't think, no matter how far behind you feel, like you can skip what might be your go mode sword here.
Exactly. Now, if there's a item here, this could be a different story. That's the sword. We can skip it now. We can skip it now. Goomba is now in true go mode. And someone posted a clip in chat of Aga 2 before Aga 1 for a sword upgrade. That is a very, very disgusting prospect.
Yeah, this randomizer does strange things to games sometimes.
Oh, I remember watching a race back in the spring tournament of 2018 that had I called it the promised seed at the time. There were just so many things that were horrible with that seed. And sword upgrade was one of the things they needed.
iamtheschwarz is about to check the chests up here, get his big key, get a map, and then go get his fire rod. Meanwhile, Goomba, grabbing a little bit extra magic here, is going to blow out the doors, go get the big chest, and get another safety spot.
So I think at this point, Schwartz is panicking about the possibility of a bomb boost here, forcing him to Ice Palace after all this time. But he'll be happy to know that Ice Palace is, at least for now, off the radar and probably will stay off the radar at this point.
It certainly will.
There's his fire rod, and mirrors himself out, and he's going to be off to Skullwoods, I believe, at this point. So he's about 7 minutes behind, 7 minutes and 7.5, I want to say.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. It's not over, but it is a lot to ask to make up that much of a time difference with just Turtle Rock and GT.
The difference could be something like a 6th floor despawn of Ganon's Tower. That could be the difference we're talking about here.
Schwartz is going to Turtle Rock first and not Skull Woods. That's going to add another climb to his route.
So laser bridge not necessary because we stole the key, and Goomba is on his way to the 3-headed turtle known as Trinex, hence 3 necks. And once we take out this 3-headed turtle, there's a game we'll play. Don't put anything in chat yet about it, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll announce it when it's time. So we're going to kill the red head with ice. That's the fire head. We're going to kill the blue head with fire. That's the ice head. And we can either use fire or ice specifically, or we can use the sword after doing the initial damage until it revives and we have to use magic again.
Goomba doing a nice job of mixing up hammer shots along with sword slashes on this ice head. It's really hard to...
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's really hard to dodge the third head while you're trying to get those hammer shots in and get as many as you can in a cycle. So as long as you're accurate with your rod shots, you can mix in a few sword slashes, and it's a little slower fight than a perfect hammer fight, but it does get the job done.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play everyone's favorite Link to the Past randomizer guessing game, the Big Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, and we need to know where you think that big key is going to be. Who's going to be the witch in our chat today who's going to figure out what chest that is? Remember, that is number from 1 to 22, no 0, no negative numbers, no numbers over 22, and no decimals, please. Where do you think it is today, James?
I think it's going to be unlucky number 11 for these folks.
You had to take my normal guess, didn't you?
I guess 11 every time.
It's always 11, because, well, always.
It's going to be interesting to see how Goomba routes this out. Like we said, he's got to feel like he's a bit behind with where Fire Rod is. iamtheschwarz could be literally anywhere in the seed from his perspective. It'll be interesting to see if he has certain preferences in his routing, or if he wants to do something that gets a high density of checks that maybe sort of is slower if that big key is in the back near Ice Armos.
Well, we're going to find out. We may even, along the way, find a sword in one of these basement chests, or maybe even just upstairs in the upper chest on Moldorm. I think we saw a gold sword there yesterday on the Moldorm 2 fight. So there could be another sword in here as well somewhere. Very likely chance, actually. We're going to skip Tile Room for now. First 2 chests are down. We did not come up with a big key, so we're going to continue to this very, very annoying torch puzzle, but runners of this caliber have no problem with it. And lighting these 2 torches, we're going to go in the southern door. The left door is useless, so we're not going to go there. We're going to activate this little switch here to lower those pegs using a KS Mario block. and then do it again. And we're through.
Yeah, and that lining up that Gibdo to get bounced off by the King of Samaria shot to give yourself a little room to fire that second cane block off to get around the pegs when you get done with the puzzle, the switch puzzle.
So chest 3 to 6 for arrows, money, and a lower amount of money.
Goomba deciding to head over to the Stalfos side of things, not going full right.
I think this is the best play. And hey, there's the book. I guess we can go find that sword on the tablet now.
Would you call that French vanilla since you need the boots to get the book still?
Kind of. I'll let it go. Anyway, he didn't grab the book, so Bob will live. We normally have to grab the key off that in the vanilla game, and that not taking that key causes a anti-fairy to glitch out. We affectionately call him Bob. I did not see a big key there in 8 to 11, so we are moving on. We found some small keys, though.
Yeah, plenty of small keys in the Dark Magician room, the Stalfos room, but no big key. Moving on to
12.
This lovely little room.
Number 12, and I did see at least 112 in the chat, so I know we have a winner. But chest number 12 is the winner of today's big key guessing game. And we are going to find out for you who our winner is today as we proceed upstairs to the 3rd floor, and we're going to find our way through this spike room. Meanwhile, as I'm talking about that, I'm scanning our chat, and that 12 is hiding very, very well here.
I don't see a 12. I don't think we have a winner today.
Well, well, well. You might be right. I don't see a 12, so we have to go with the closest guess. And 13 was the first closest guess, which means I lost the name now. That means that Phantom DZR, by process of being first closest, you are the winner of today's big key guessing game. And James, what's the prize for him today?
Well, since our big key guessing game bot is still in the shop, all you get is some internet cred. But please enjoy all that internet.
Yes, you get 10 internets. There you go. And we are in the Gauntlet, which is the hardest series of rooms in the game, but you would not know it from the way that Goomba is going to tear through these. Cannonball Run was just before that. We didn't comment on that. Just a quick run through the cannonballs there. And I think he stopped at the ferry room. I think he stopped there, if I remember correctly. So, Zyzax, Beamos on conveyor belts. 2 Beamos taking pot shots at you. Not a friendly thing. We get it again here. But Goomba just tearing through these rooms. Not even getting a shot from the Beamos.
Even getting the Stalfos in the last Gauntlet room with a silver arrow, a lot of runners will switch to the fire rod because it has a larger hitbox. But Goomba delivering a strike with that arrow and cleaning up on these landmos.
He tore through that Gauntlet lightning fast. I don't know if he can do that much quicker than he did it. And these rooms are always satisfying.
Unless you screw them up, in which case it's very unsatisfying. Or you get pixel bonked off of not this room, but the next one where there's 4 of those Usain Bolt guards looking to send you to the depths.
The other possibility is that you may also have the rare Dodke asparagus seed. Then you can't do that.
I like those seeds. I'm on equal footing with better runners at that point.
And Goomba going upstairs. No despawn of GT today, so we're going to do the last torch puzzle in the game. Ooh, I thought he was going to jump in the pit for a second, but he's using the lamp because he ran out of juice. He didn't pick up the magic refill before coming upstairs. You'll have to pick up the one before Moldorm 2. There is one in the room before Moldorm 2 you'll have to pick up now.
Yeah, if you only have 8 shots of the fire rod without half magic, and thankfully you can just inch your way out on that platform and reach that last torch with the lamp.
He picks up the magic I mentioned, and he's going to go south into the final door to open Moldorm 2. Well, not the final door. There's still another one ahead, obviously. But 3 more hits with the hammer here, it looks like. And Moldorm, whoops, almost missed that shot. Got bonked by the head, and he's down.
Oh, Trolldorm strikes again. Meanwhile, Schwarz got through Turtle Rock. Had a little bit of a problem with Trinex, but went over to Ganon's tower and realized he was missing a crystal. So he's now finishing up Skull Woods.
So, Trolldorm versus Goomba, round 2. Fight! That hit. Oh, I didn't know if that connected, but he got it. And some runners will hover the gap here with the boots instead of using the hook shot. A little swag doesn't hurt, but we don't have to do it here. We can just hook shot to the chest and 20 rupees in that final chest. That's vanilla.
Yep. So one more boss fight for Goomba before Ganon is egging him to the Lord of Geometry.
Agonometry. With the Mothula welcome mat in front. Just nice that someone has his welcome mat anyway. And 3 balls are going to be fired at Goomba, and he has to try to hit as many back at Aghanim as he can. 2 of the Aghanims are fake. He has to hit the real one. He got 2 on the first cycle. Real one may throw a blue ball like that once in a while, so we only have 3 hits now because of that. And there is 4, 5. We need 1 more. Sort of 2, 1, 2. I think he's going to get this because there's 2 lined up there. Very nice. That is 6 hits. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Big Pig. But first, the Big Bat. And you would think that Link would try killing the bat, but that doesn't work.
And then for some reason, the duck in the Dark World.
He's free! Anyway, we are going to now have a hole in the pyramid the size of a cuckoo. Don't ask me why it's the size of a cuckoo. And Link is going to fall through. And Ganon has some marvelous words of wisdom. He's such a ham. He has some great words of wisdom. And tries to be funny sometimes. So let's see what he says today. Today he's talking about we keep ending up here. It's like deja vu all over again. Yeah, I feel like we've done this about 10,767 times. This will be another one on the record.
This is a really nice strategy I've never seen before from Goomba, using these Canis Samaria blocks to keep him from recoiling when hitting these spins.
I have seen this. This is not the first time I've seen this strategy, and I like this strategy. It's a great strategy when you're dealing with the Master Sword Ganon.
Yes, Ganon takes 12 spins with the Master Sword in each of these first 2 phases. And normally when you hit Ganon with a sword spin, he sends you off like 4 or 5 tiles in a different direction. But having that block out there, he's able to get double hits with these spins and really cut down the time in this fight.
Exactly. It's a great strategy to save time in the Ganon fight, especially when you feel like you're behind. And I'm fairly sure at this point Goomba feels like he's behind. So definitely a great strategy to speed up the fight a little bit. And that's phase 3. So you saw the first 2 phases, the trident being thrown, then the circle of fire turning into fire bats. And now this is what we like to call temper tantrum phase. Or at least I call it that. I don't think anyone else does.
We just need him to hold still. We just need him to hold still.
Oh, no!
So we're in the final phase now, and with those silver arrows, it's going to be 4 spins and 4 arrow shots.
And no torch glitch. This is going to take slightly longer, not too bad. He did say, oh no, silver, my one true weakness, which reminds you that you found the silver arrows. That hit does count because he got the Ganon into ice before the light went out, so that hit counted. And there is the 4th hit, and that is going to be GG in a moment for Goomba. But he has to first cross a perilous 1x3 bridge fraught with tiles of, I don't know what they're made out of. Can he cross this bridge safely and win the race? Let's find out. And yes, he does cross that dangerous bridge. And he is going to be our winner. And we'll get the time in a second, but I'd like to see what the Triforce says first. I'm sorry. Your princess is in another castle. It's the Triforce looking for an princess. Anyway, Goomba finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 21 seconds. Get your GGs in chat if you have not already. And it looks like I'm the Schwarz is going to continue. So while I'm the Schwarz continues, we'll see if Goomba wants to join us and chat about this a little bit. So as we watch I Am the Schwarz continuing to finish in the compass room right now, Goomba has joined us. GG, Goomba.
Hey, GG.
So, first question I will ask, were you worried that Bombos was in Swamp Palace?
I mean, it was a consideration, but I wasn't really worried. Part of me was hoping for it, because I figured I had done the other 2 pennant bosses anyway, so if it was pedestal, I was probably in a decent spot.
Yeah, by that point, you had both actually done the same 2 pennants, and we were actually having a little guess between ourselves as when I was there. You both left the left side of Swamp Palace behind, and
I gathered as much, because otherwise I would not have won that race.
yeah, of course. And it almost didn't pay off. Fortunately, you both made the same mistake, and it worked in your favor there for that win. But my goodness, that's quite a way to win a race, needless to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I went back to Swamp, I was just kind of, okay, if he didn't skip it, I lose. If not, I probably win.
And that seed started out, it seemed at the very beginning of the seed to go in a very, very linear direction. It almost felt like Ganon was going to be required when we had 1 or 2 checks left, and then things just suddenly opened up. You found the Power Glove, you found the Hammer with the result of the Power Glove, and all of a sudden we had Dark World access. Was there anything about that seed that really stood out to you, though?
I mean, it was mostly, like you said, the early game. It definitely felt like it was shaping up to be an Aghanim seed. It was a pretty unusual early game with Eastern Palace being as loaded as it was, and the rest kind of being... I mean, there was stuff elsewhere in the Dark World, but it didn't really do it, or the Light World, I mean, but it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, it did seem like that.
Yeah, we noticed that even the Titans Mitts only opened up other Titans Mitts locations. There wasn't anything to be found behind those. It was a very front-heavy seed, which I can definitely see from your perspective how you were worried coming back to Swamp that if iamtheschwarz had decided to make that left side play, that it was going to be a bad news for you.
Yeah, but I mean, I figured he probably didn't, because it's only 1 item. There was so much open, and with Swamp Palace being a red crystal especially, it opened Pyramid Fairy, so that opens even more fairly attractive options. Like, I figured he probably wouldn't go for left side Swamp for 1 item at that point, so I wasn't really too worried.
If that was a case of playing what you thought he would do, that worked out perfectly in your favor then, because I'm sure there are a lot of runners who will not skip that item, and that would have cost you the win in this case, obviously, most likely. But it worked out for you this.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel pretty happy with my route overall. Like, aside from full clearing the game, I feel like it at least was very efficient. So
that's one thing we actually were commenting on as you were going through the Dark World. We thought you had a very good route going through, going around in a sort of a counterclockwise fashion. We actually expected you to pull into Pyramid Fairy before, and then go to Palace of Darkness from there, and up to Catfish from there to check King Zora. Why did you go to Palace of Darkness before?
The original plan was to, loop down to Swamp, but then up to Pyramid Fairy and go to Pod from there. But then I got the fluke, and I figured I have to go to Palace of Darkness anyway, so I may as well flute over and do that first before I do the overworld checks.
I see.
In case there's some good stuff in Pod that opens up other options.
Yeah, it's a very reasonable decision. We're very impressed throughout the seed with your execution. Definitely telltale sign of your seed in this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I agree after that Ganon fight, but...
Well, you rode the seed exceptionally well, in my opinion. We commented on that at least a couple times. We were very impressed with the routing, and A+ for that for sure. I'm, of course, missing one of the whiz robes on the KS Mario shot in the second room. He's about to get to the 4 or 5 torch puzzle right now, so he's getting close to the end himself. Ooh, in the pit. But yeah, we found the routing exceptional. I don't think there was a better way to route that Dark World, and I think that was the top way to route that, in my opinion. So really, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like routing is probably my main strength. Like, obviously, like, I have pretty good execution, but there's people in this tournament with way better execution than me. Like, way better. But I don't know. I route well, I guess.
Yeah, it's really important in a seat like this where a lot of options are given to you, and you just need to get them checked out in as short a time as possible. Anything you picked up on today that you're gonna look back on and maybe try and do differently, other than that Ganon fight in game 2?
Maybe not last location my go mode.
I mean, that's a rando tradition. Let's be honest here.
I feel like that's not a very effective strategy, so I'm probably gonna try not to do that in game 2, but we'll see how that goes.
Keeping an eye on iamtheschwarz here, finishing Molder in 2 now, so probably with just snagging him 2 fight and Ganon probably about 3-4 minutes out at this point. So I know iamtheschwarz listening. I don't want to ask you to give him some kind of insight, but have you actually talked about what you would end up doing as the flags if either of you were to lose the matchup?
No, not really. I have my ideas. I'm sure he has his, but we haven't really talked about it.
Well, since I'm sure he's watching right now with the 20-minute delay, I won't ask you to reveal what would worry you or something like that, because I'll keep it to his choice, obviously, without that information. He had a triple, I think, on the first part of Aghanim 2, by the way.
Not saying.
Yeah, that was a 3-1-2. Very, very nice. So he's off to the Ganon fight right now. James, do you have any other questions while we watch Schwartz's Ganon fight?
No, not right now. It's just wanted to thank Goomba for the run. Very, very well executed seed that ended up trolling a little bit more than I think either of our runners hoped.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's another thing. The seed kind of forced a lot of very low % execution, like Fighter Sword almost the entire seed, Green Mail. Not a whole lot of hearts, but we did get a lot of safeties, so it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I commented a seed earlier this week where runners were in even more dire straits going in against Tower than you guys were. It was something like Fighter Sword, no safeties, 6 hearts.
Oh yeah, I think I watched that race. I remember that.
That sounds not fun.
I mean, it was a really fast seed, but because it was a really fast seed, they didn't find any safeties or hearts or anything. So,
Oh, is this the one they go mode at 30 minutes and 47 seconds?
maybe? I'm not sure.
I don't think it was that one. I think there was still a little bit of look for a go mode, but it was Ganon's Tower had like 7 hearts in it.
Yeah, I remember they walked into Ganon's Tower with like 6 hearts green mail, and then when they started climbing, they had like blue mail, 12 hearts or something. It's kind of crazy.
That's where Ganon was hiding all the health.
Apparently. Yeah, I watched that race for sure.
Schwartz is down to 1 hit point. This could be dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has any potions or not left at this point.
Oh! He might have a fairy. He might have a fairy.
I think he got a fairy. I think he got a fairy in Turtle Rock.
Does. He does. So he's good. Just a little bit of a time loss there, not much. And took the fire there. It's okay. He'll wait for another swing. There it is. And that takes him out of Temper Tantrum phase.
Yeah, that third phase can really get out of hand if the fire bat circles start flowing around.
Yeah, if you don't hit him at the right time once, then it can really mess up the entire third phase.
Only a single there, trying for the double and did not quite get it.
Well, one more hit, and that should take iamtheschwarz to the finish line here. There it is. I think it was the same one that Goomba had, actually, at the bottom. Very nice. So that does give him a finish. We're going to let him cross the bridge, and we'll get his time in a moment. Meanwhile, get your GGs in chat for iamtheschwarz, who has now finished the race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 5 seconds. So about 9.5 minutes or so behind. And that was just a nasty, nasty seed in terms of the fact that we had to do left side swamp. And without that, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't finish the game.
Yeah, and we'll look and see if we can get iamtheschwarz in here for an interview or not. Still a lot more action tonight, too, even this late hour.
There is. I was just about to bring that up, actually, because I'm just looking at the schedule for that right now. I know right now on Speed Gaming 4, there's Weighty Words versus Big Dunka happening over there, so that one is currently ongoing. There is a race coming up on the ALTTP Randomizer channel, which is also co-hosting this tournament. Sir Linkalat 777 versus Pika Pals. That is scheduled to start in 3 minutes, roughly 3 minutes on that channel. I don't know the exact time because I'm not in the room where it started, obviously. Races are on a 20-minute delay after all. BBB Kermit versus Will J. Bradley happening at 10:20. That's going to be on this channel, Speed Gaming 3. Speed Gaming 4, we have Gans Gone Wild versus Kappa. And I think I commentated the first race. No, I didn't commentate that one. It was a different one. First race, that was last night, I believe. And I think that's the second one tonight. I may be mistaken, so don't quote me on that. But I know I saw another race in that yesterday. So that is on 11:20 p.m. on Speed Gaming 4 later tonight. And then the first race of the day tomorrow is Scary Oliver versus Tato. On the main Speed Gaming channel, 12:30 p.m. So that's a little information on some of the races on our schedule. Speedgaming.org/ALTTPR will give you all the information on all the races going on, broadcast or otherwise.
Yeah, it looks like we're not going to get iamtheschwarz in here for an interview. So, yeah, full slate of races even still tonight. Lots of stuff to watch. It was a really interesting seed, very linear at the start, and then everything kind of opened up and let a lot of chances for people to make sort of gambly decisions, and both runners kind of played it safe throughout it, and Goomba just had better execution and better routing, got more checks done, and got the finish line.
It sounds like Schwartz did hear what I was saying about how what he might want to do with the seed flag set in the next match. He did post in the SRL channel there's going to be no change for the next match. So it looks like we are going to have another 7-7 regular open mode seed with no funny stuff done to it for the next match as well, based on what I'm seeing in the SRL channel. If that is changed, that may be different by the time Game 2 actually airs, but that's what I'm seeing right now, and that's what we can announce for right now. So make sure you do follow these runners as well. Goomba 90 and iamtheschwarz are their YouTube names. Or not YouTube names, Twitch names. Sorry, Twitch names. You can catch them live doing whatever else they do besides this racing. And with that said, make sure you follow our tracker. We'll get his information in the chat. That's Revolving Ocelot. Give him a follow as well as co-commentator James FNX. With that said, well, we've already covered the schedule. Is there anything else we really want to... Do you have any last words before we do call tonight here, Goomba?
No, not really. I just want to say GG to Schwartz. And good luck again tomorrow, I guess. And we'll be playing Game 2.
And James?
I can't wait to see Game 2 in this seed. A lot more tournament left to come. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure you give those runners a follow, give our tracker a follow, and stick around on our Speed Gaming channels for more races.
Yep, absolutely. And I am looking at across the brackets, John, right now. You said a lot of rando to come, and there's not a lot. I don't think there's any groups that have actually been decided yet. So this group phase, there is still a lot going on. There are some that are close to the end. Group D, for example, they have one more matchup left. But there are other groups that still have a lot of races to go, and we have a lot still to decide. So keep an eye on these channels, Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Will be all ready to go with these races. Keep an eye on them, and you'll know when all the races come on that we can get broadcast here. With that said, make sure you check out all the races I mentioned tonight and also tomorrow morning to start off the day tomorrow afternoon rather. And make sure you also follow ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5. Again, there's a race on the ALTTP Randomizer starting in right now, I think, is when that's starting. So I want to also thank everyone who is watching. We're going to keep the channel live for a moment while we let the ending credits play for iamtheschwarz so we can get his collection rate and all that. But other than that, we are going to call it a night. There's not really much else for us to do here. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. And if it was not for you watching here and on YouTube, we'd just be sitting here talking to ourselves. Let me actually, since we do have some time to kill, let me cover Speed Gaming schedule for a second. Some other events, if you were interested in other events here on the Speed Gaming Family Networks, there's a Magic the Gathering event going on 2 right now, Speed Gaming 2. Some Metroid Prime coming up later on the main channel after the Link to the Past randomizer race going on over there. That one started at 7:50. I didn't catch that one. Let me see what it was. It was GFE 12 versus Sailor Net. That's happening on the main channel right now. Excellent. And another item that's coming on later tonight, Zelda 1, Metroid 1 randomizer, combo randomizer. So that's a sample of some other events that happen here on the Speed Gaming Family and Networks. Check those out as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, may not all your seeds be PED seeds. And James, you're going to get the final word.
It's a big night, and let's not have that fire rod locked in our last location again next time, shall we? Everyone have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Good night.